every 10 and sports twice an hour.
Newstalk, KGVO, AM 1290 and 98.3 FM.
You're listening to Montana Morning with Peter Christian.
A look back at Missoula Marathon Weekend. Good morning, everyone. This is Montana Morning. It is Monday, July the 10th, 2017. Back from vacation, and so we are back. And I want to say thank you to Steve Fullerton for filling in with news while John and I have been on vacation during the 4th of July week. Right now it's 64 degrees. The sky is becoming more cloudy as we go. It's going to be a cooler day today. If highs in the mid-80s or cool, as they definitely will feel today. Right now, again, it's 64 degrees. Our newscast this morning sponsored by Dig It Excavating, bringing 30 years of excellence to every job. Call 214-4292. Well, a picture-perfect weekend began Friday with the traditional Missoula Marathon beer run. And then Saturday at 8 a.m., the starter's pistol sounded for the 2017 5K race. Race organizer Tony Banovich has the numbers of participants and the economic impact on the Missoula community.
For the 5K, we've got a little over 1,300 registered, most ever. So we're really excited about that. Our marathon, we've got somewhere around 1,100, and our half marathon about 3,400. You know, I think this year we're going to be somewhere over $2 million.
Also at the race was Olympic marathoner and trainer Jeff Galloway, who said he runs a marathon a month and absolutely loves running and training in Missoula. Galloway said he celebrated his 70th birthday running the marathon here in Missoula and announced a new fitness program in the Garden City.
What we really are excited about most is a Get in Shape program for those who are not doing anything or not doing much and want to do more and just get in shape. And we'll start this off next month in August here in Missoula, so I hope you can join.
The 7th Missoula Marathon was marked by very warm and dry conditions. Race hours were shortened due to the heat. Well, speaking of the marathon, in this case the half marathon, how many challenges are left for Missoula City fireman Andrew Drobeck to conquer? After finishing first for the last 6 years at the Seattle Stair Climb Challenge, Drobeck broke the record for a mile run in full gear back in May by over 40 seconds.
It went good. The record was 6:48, and I went 6:08, and it was good. I felt pretty good after that, and gave me some confidence just looking at that time compared to this. The record for this is about 7:29 pace, which like the difference between in just regular running clothes between my mile pace and half marathon pace was, pretty similar.
On Sunday, Drobeck ran the half marathon, that's nearly 14 miles, in full turnout gear. However, Drobeck did not account for the footwear that firemen must wear. When looking at possibly running the marathon, he said that bears no resemblance to the high-tech running footwear of today.
It'd be a slugfest. It's like 4 hours and 30-some minutes, so it's even a little bit slower than the pace I ran today. But not with that footwear. There's no way that I had to rub my heels down to the bone by going another 13 miles.
As it was, Drobeck finished the half marathon in about 2 hours, and to top it off, rode his bike about 20 miles later on that morning, and then pulled his Sunday shift with the Missoula Fire Department when that interview was recorded. Go, Andy, go. MTN News is reporting that Sanders County Sheriff's Office deputies are evacuating cabins and homes threatened by the Lazier Creek 3 fire burning near the Bend Guard Station. Fire managers report the blaze grew from 80 acres on Sunday morning to 400 acres by 8:45 p.m. and continues to actively burn grass and brush. There are several other fires sparked Friday by lightning. The DNRC reports the blazes are scattered throughout the Pleasant Valley, Happy's Inn, ACM, and Fisher River areas. A Type 2 team has been ordered to manage the fires. They'll be arriving later today. Montana Senator John Tester, former CIA analyst Nada Bekos, and UM law professor Anthony Johnstone discussed their views on Russian interference in U.S. elections and the effect of dark money in national political campaigns at a town hall meeting on Friday at the U of M. Tester railed against the millions spent on U.S. elections.
In 2006, as I pointed out, it was a $25 million race in Montana for the U.S. Senate. In 2012, it was 50 after Citizens United. In 2018, the pundits are saying it's going to run north of 75. And it might be a good deal, but the truth is that heat a lot of houses and buy a lot of books.
Former CIA analyst Nada Bekos said Russian interference in U.S. elections is their way of returning to world dominance. developments.
Russia is looking for expansion and intervention right now. They're not focused on specifically Trump. They're not focused specifically on Republican agenda. What they're focused on is influencing and interrupting the United States. And however they accomplish that agenda is what they're doing in the moment.
law professor Anthony Johnstone asserted that the Trump administration has little interest in campaign finance reform.
By all accounts, this administration is not only kind of uninterested in campaign finance, which is a fair criticism of the Obama administration as well, but actually is taking some quite aggressive moves to make it harder to make our elections work better for Americans.
The meeting, held in a conference room at the University Center, was sponsored by the Montana World Affairs Council, Montanans for National Security, and the Davidson Honors College. To hear the program in its entirety, just look at the YouTube video on our website at newstalkkgvo.com. Authorities say a single-engine plane has clipped a power line and crashed into the Yellowstone River, but both people aboard have been rescued. Color Television, Color 8, reports the plane crashed Saturday morning near Big Timber. There was no immediate word on whether the plane's occupants were injured. The Sweetgrass County Sheriff's Department said the cut power line left some Big Timber residents without electricity. Sheriff's deputies said utility crews were working to restore service. Officials say boaters participating in the annual Yellowstone boat float were in the river, but none were injured. The cause of the crash still under investigation. Last week's earthquake near Lincoln was felt for hundreds of miles, but thankfully caused little damage. Earthquake Studies Director at the Montana School of Mines and Geology in Butte, Mike Stickney, described where the 5.8 magnitude quake occurred.
This earthquake occurred squarely within the Intermountain Seismic Belt that runs through western Montana, roughly between Kalispell and Yellowstone Park, and the Lincoln area is more or less the middle of that zone. We've seen small and moderate earthquakes there through the years as we've monitored earthquake activity around the state.
Stickney then went on to talk about the numerous aftershocks following the initial earthquake.
So far, the largest aftershock is a magnitude 4.9 that occurred about 5 minutes after the main shock. And then there was a magnitude 4.5 that was not quite an hour later. And we've seen so far 15 aftershocks in the magnitude 3 to 4 range, and literally hundreds of aftershocks smaller than that.
As Stickney said, the area could experience smaller aftershocks for the next few years from that earthquake. No injuries were reported from the quake. And the Frenchtown Rural Fire District responded to a total of 10 small fires on Friday, reportedly caused by a Montana Rail Link grinder train. Frenchtown Fire spokesman Nell Holtz has details.
We've been actually pretty busy with some wildland starts because of that. Most of them have been single railroad ties that are on fire, but today with the heat and dry out conditions, they had actually started 2 grass fires. We were able to get on scene and quickly contain those. Also had help with the Forest Service engine coming out to help us as well.
Holt said drivers on I-90 reported the fires to 911.
They were visible from the interstate. 911 received several callers on those fires, and this was about a mile to a mile and a half west of Frenchtown, and then we just responded to a couple of fires east of Frenchtown here by about a mile.
Holt said no one was injured and the fires were quickly contained. Our News Talk time, 6:13.
News Talk, KGVO.
Missoula's official weather station.
Partly to mostly sunny skies today with our high temperatures in the upper 80s. Scattered showers and thunderstorms will develop by the afternoon. Tonight, partly cloudy, lows in the mid-50s. I'm meteorologist Brooke Foster for Missoula's KECI 13.